You're about to see the video of Donald Trump achieving the art of no deals once again today in his utterly demented attempt, this time on TV, to make Canada the 51st state. What you are about to see is the President of the United States, who sounds like he is out of his mind, sitting beside a real head of state who obviously, though he must have expected it, still can't really believe what he's hearing in the Oval Office. And you will watch how the Canadian Prime Minister says absolutely no to Donald Trump to his face, with Donald Trump far too exhausted at this point to try to interrupt the way he did when Ukraine's President Zelensky was sitting beside him in the Oval Office. Things have gone very badly for Donald Trump every day since President Zelensky was in the Oval Office. And Donald Trump had no fight in him today when the very polite Canadian beside him talked rings around Donald Trump like a ringmaster in a circus with a trained animal, threw in some magic words that sounded flattering enough to Donald Trump so that Donald Trump actually, and you'll see this, ends up nodding and agreeing with the man who is humiliating him and defeating him right there in the room on TV. The first thing you will hear Donald Trump say after the Canadian Prime Minister has humiliated him is, "That's true." That's what Trump says. No president has ever lost more in one conversation in the Oval Office than Donald Trump lost in these 90 seconds.
I'm a very artistic person, but when I looked at that beauty, I said that's the way it was meant to be. But, you know, I do feel it's much better for Canada. But we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. I think that there are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem. But I think it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. And we have done that in the past. And part of that, as the President just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government is committed for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnership. And I'll say this as well, that the President has revitalized international security, revitalized NATO, and us playing our full weight in NATO.
Kind of sad. The old guy slumped forward in his bad posture, the Canadian sitting up, the Canadian talking rings around him. Prime Minister Mark Carney, you can see, thinking of mind racing while Donald Trump's saying these insane things. And then finally, when the Prime Minister gets his shot, could not be more calm. And Donald Trump doesn't even understand what's happening on the Canadian side of that conversation.